LeBron James versus Bronny James at age 15. LeBron James Jr. is still 3 years from even graduating high school, but rumor has it that he can end up better than his father LeBron James ever did. Welcome back to our channel, and for today's video, we will talk about LeBron James versus Bronny James at age 15. But before we hop into the details, do not forget to subscribe to our channel and share this video with your friends and family. Ever since Bronny James established himself as a basketball player, he has drawn comparisons to his father, LeBron James. While James is counted as one of NBA's greatest of all time, Bronny is referred to as a prodigy, waiting to play in the NBA and become a better player than his father. Both of them were recently seen at the gym in Los Angeles, and the Sierra Canyon High School guard has much social media talking after some photos were posted on Instagram. Bronny and LeBron were seen on the court doing various drills together with noted trainer Chris Johnson. They were often pictured next to each other, which caused people to make comparisons between the two. Despite being a teenager, LeBron James Jr., better known as Bronny James, continues to gather much hype and traction with his path on the basketball court. That has foreseeably led to comparisons to his father, Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James, as many have tracked his progress to what his dad accomplished in high school days. However, there is one area that is a growing belief that Bronny may hold over his father at his age. Bronny James is not his father LeBron James yet, but the 16-year-old is a member of his high school basketball team and getting increased minutes as each game goes by. Bronny is improving rapidly thanks to many advantages. But all kinds of children of privilege get a leg up. In basketball, you're only as good as your game. There's good proof that Bronny is taking everything seriously. Just analyze the way he looks currently at the age of 15 years old compared to his dad when he was that age. This kid isn't coasting on his name, he's putting in the work. Magic Johnson from TMZ Sports says, normally what happens is sometimes with all the skill and talent that LeBron has, it passes to his son. Bronny has showcased plenty of potential for his age, displaying the natural abilities and feel for the game that his father had. Johnson said, I think that he has a chance to be unbelievable and either just as good as his dad or a little better. It doesn't take much to prove that Bronny is built differently from his father, at least when they were the same age. Young LeBron was tall, clearly huge, and looking every bit the incredible young NBA prospect he already was at that point. But he was lanky back then, too. Before he built himself into the mountain of muscle he is today, his frame looked more like Kevin Durant's. Bronny lacks that natural lankiness. What is more, he clearly put in work, building up muscle that could only come from an intense diet and workout program. He doesn't have the same height yet, but he's making up for that with a different type of body. He looks more like a point guard, although his evolving game and rapidly changing body type could alter that in the end. Over the last couple of years, Bronny James has continued to gain traction on a national level concerning his play on the basketball court. Granted, much of that has come from LeBron James' son, but he's starting to carve out his lane. That saw the attention around him grow after it was decided that he would attend Sierra Canyon High School alongside Dwayne Wade's son, Zaire Wade. LeBron was a blockbuster star who made his mark based entirely on his play in high school. He was unknown before that, left to his own devices to keep his diet and exercise in check. No wonder he looked every bit the 16-year-old Akron, Ohio kid that he was, despite his size. Bronny's experience is as different as could be, as his understated basketball career so far, as ESPN reports. Instead of LeBron's star-making dominance of his often hapless young opponents early on, Bronny's path has actually been tougher. He has to make his name in the midst of one of the strongest high school squads in the country. His first year with the school saw him play a limited role in much of a six-man spot as he averaged 4.1 points in 15 minutes per contest, but was the only player to play in all 34 games. James had his moments throughout the year with several flashy dunks and crucial shots late in games. Although he had the bright lights on him entering the team, he was joining a team that features McDonald's All-American talents in B.J. Boston and Zaire Williams. James didn't necessarily have a flashy season by any means, but has shown that he may already be better than his father in one regard at that age. Instead of getting his moments to shine, he has to earn his minutes as a freshman alongside the best junior and senior class athletes Sierra Canyon High School has to offer. And, as USA Today reports, there's the matter of Bronny's size. It's inherently difficult to make your way as a smaller point guard. LeBron had an easier time using his natural size and speed to muscle his way into a multi-use power forward style early on. Bronny James had his moments in his freshman year at Sierra Canyon that has pushed the way toward him being ranked 24th by ESPN in the 2023 class. James has continued to grow physically to 6'2", while he has shown continued improvement in other aspects of his game. According to Paul Biancardi of ESPN, Bronny may have already surpassed LeBron James as being a better shooter at age 15. It should also be noted that when it comes to shooting the ball from the outside, Bronny's jumper is ahead of where his dad's jumper was. Neither shot could be described as pure, but Bronny has slightly better range and accuracy than LeBron did at this stage. James has demonstrated the ability to be a more consistent factor with his outside shooting than his dad. LeBron James has never held the reputation as being a shooter, but he was more aggressive in high school toward getting to the rim, while Bronny has relied more on his shooting touch. It isn't to state that he's a pure shooter, but is more adept to that part of his game at a younger age than his dad. Regardless of the difficulties of getting shine at Sierra Canyon, Bronny is making an impact. He's made pivotal plays and increased his playing time. After a short, minor controversy over being filmed smoking marijuana, he stepped away from the spotlight to focus on his game. His jump shot is already ahead of LeBron's curve at the same age, as is his overall mental game. Those good signs don't point to Bronny literally being the next LeBron. Barring a late growth spurt, he'll probably remain a point guard. According to The Undefeated, if the two play in the NBA at the same time, it won't be exactly like a Ken Griffey Jr. type of situation. Bronny simply doesn't have the mysterious natural gifts that propelled his father to a star-studded national-level event when he debuted in the NBA. There is certainly high praise directed at Bronny James, but it's yet another comparison to LeBron James. The 15-year-old will never truly escape those conversations as he has picked up the same sport as his dad, who is held as being one of the greatest players in NBA history. That is a discussion that he has likely quickly learned that he has to live with, and it also possibly provides him with more motivation to push himself into his craft. Of course, comparing him to LeBron is more than just lofty expectations. The 15-time All-Star and 4-time MVP is one of the best players in the history of the sport, if not the best. Johnson admitted that those are big shoes to fill, but the Hall of Famer has high hopes for the high school freshman. Bronny has a bright future ahead of him, while his younger brother, Bryce James, looks to be following a similar path with his basketball career. Only time will tell how things will pan out.
There is B.J. Boston on the glass.
Griffey Jr. was one of the defining talents of his generation, a contrast to his journeyman father. Most scouts just don't see Bronny pulling that off. But if Bronny's best shot at making a permanent mark in the NBA is being the next Allen Iverson instead of the next LeBron James, and that, in its truest sense, is not a bad thing. If you like this video, then make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos in the future. Also, hit the bell icon to stay up to date and be the first one to watch our latest videos.